Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar or under the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. We have still got a lot of showers around, some thicker cloud, but also we could be seeing some quite warm if not hot conditions for a few in the east across the middle of this week, as we do drag up some warm air ahead of a low pressure system that arrives through Thursday and Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday could be quite warm for some in the east with temperatures in those mid to high 20s. So still some summer warmth there. We'll then have a look at the mid to longer range, look at the GFS ECMWF and the various ensembles as well, as it still looks very changeable for the last week of August and start of September. We could be seeing real drastic changes over the course of the next couple of weeks. Some ensemble members in Operational Run are still showing some late summer warmth and early autumn warmth, whereas others have got us switching to very cool north or northeasterly winds come the first week of September. And as we saw in yesterday's video, it's northern blocking that could be causing this, but it's how far northwards that northern blocking gets, because if it sits over the top of us or slightly to our north, more of an easterly flow or southeasterly flow, the near continent is still very warm and hot and dry at the moment, so we'd be dragging in quite warm summer-like conditions. But if it gets slightly further northwards, sitting towards Iceland, perhaps even as north as Greenland, then suddenly we're flooding Arctic air in, which again isn't too cold this time of year, but it's much chillier than the warm air we have had recently, and it would be showing us some real autumnal sort of temperatures, with those conditions getting into sort of the mid-teens perhaps, which will be a real shock to the system, as it's pretty much been mid-20s and even higher as we've had heat waves over the last month or so. So it's been mid-20s consistently for some areas for the past month or two. So we'll have a look at that in detail and see what the models are showing today. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well. The link's in the description. So if you start on the live radar, you can see not too much going on at the moment. We have some showers across northern Scotland, just with the low pressure system to the north. That's bringing some heavy thundery rain into parts of Norway, but for the north of Scotland, just a few showers. We do have weather fronts trying to approach from the southwest, bringing some thicker cloud and some patchy showers. Those showers not too bad, but generally it's pretty cloudy and pretty gloomy for some. There is some cloud breaks, and where you see those cloud breaks, there'll be some sunshine, and those temperatures will feel pretty decent. But where we still have thicker cloud and this drizzle across parts of Wales, the West Midlands, yeah, it's going to feel a little cooler with those temperatures holding in the high teens probably. Across northern England to the northwest, northeast, parts of Yorkshire, all the way up towards southern Scotland, that's where we've got the best conditions really today, with a lot of sunshine, dry and warmer weather. But as I said, to the south and the west, low pressure approaching, weather fronts approaching with thicker cloud. Now, if we do have a look at those 2-metre temperatures, you can see the best temperatures are still in the east, towards parts of Norwich, Cambridge, Peterborough, all the way up towards Yorkshire, and still towards Bristol and Cardiff, looking pretty warm, and generally across England, it's not too bad. But those temperatures more towards the low 20s, maybe 22, 23 in a few spots, and we'll see more yellows and blues, that's more high teens towards the 20-degree mark. So not too cool today, but under that cloud, it's not going to feel too warm, as really the sun, especially in these sort of conditions, the sun is really what keeps that warmth. So yeah, when you do have cloud, it's going to be a little bit chillier. You can see across the near continents, it's still very warm, and this is why I said in the next couple of weeks, if we do start to pull in southeasterly winds, easterly winds, you can see it is warm across Germany, France, Belgium, Netherlands, all on the countries near to us. But if we start dragging that air in from the north, you can already see it starting to cool down significantly across Greenland and Iceland. We start to pull in those flows. We're not going to get anything cold, but we're going to get things a little bit chillier with those temperatures more autumnal. So that is, as I said, what we've got to keep an eye on. If you go to the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. And after you run out to this afternoon, as I'm recording this around 2-3 p.m, you can see a few showers in the south, but generally thicker cloud. You can see across northern England, that's where we have more cloud breaks, and across Ireland and Northern Ireland, cloud breaks for some, but still quite a lot of cloud, but it is pretty much bone dry there. Across northern Scotland, you can see those showers, but still plenty of sunshine around them, so not too bad. A pretty decent day overall, to be honest, not too crazy at all. If you run through to tomorrow, you can see the rain does pep up more in the south and the west, with heavier precipitation moving in through Monday morning rush hour across northwest England into parts of North Wales towards Liverpool. It's going to be pretty miserable there through the morning with some very heavy rain, and that will spread eastwards through the Midlands into parts of East Anglia through Monday afternoon, giving some quite heavy torrential rain as it does move through. Behind it, maybe a few showers and maybe some heavy thundery showers isolated there just behind it, but still to the south of that weather front, it will be not too bad of a day. We'll have a look at those temperatures, as I said, in a minute. As we spread through, you can see still some precipitation around, but still some dry weather, some cloud, and some sun breaks into Tuesday. And through Tuesday evening, still some showers and potentially some heavier rain across northern England moving through. And through Wednesday, still showers around, but still plenty of sunshine and clouds. So it's one of these weeks where pretty much every day there's going to be some cloud and some showers and maybe some heavy persistent rain as well, but there also will be some drier, sunnier or warmer weather. It's just really distinguishing where that does pop up, and because a lot of this precipitation, apart from the weather fronts that we have highlighted, most of it is convective based, it's very difficult to forecast exactly where it's going to pop up, but we can just say sort of the rough positions, because you can see by Wednesday afternoon it's sort of through the Midlands into southern Wales and southwest England where the most likely chance of showers is, and some wider precipitation. It does move through northeastern England through Wednesday evening, and we've got to keep an eye on through Thursday as we do start to pump, as I said, we do pump up warmer air through Wednesday and Thursday, and you can see potentially some heavy thundery rain in the southeast. There's a chance of some big thunderstorms there, depending on exactly how much warm air we do pump in. Don't want to make too much of it at this stage, because it could just be generally some precipitation and some persistent rain within that. And then eventually into Friday, we go a little bit drier further westwards. And the reason for that heavier precipitation in the southeast, you can see, because we've got very warm air. Look, 18-degree isotherms not too far away. But you can, as I said, see these contrasting air masses, 3, 4, 5 degrees across the north of Scotland, 18 degrees across the southeast. 3, 4, 5 degrees at 850 HPA is below average and would give temperatures in the mid-teens for widely. 18 degrees at 850 HPA would get temperatures up towards 30 degrees. And this is why there is so much uncertainty over the next week or two, because as I said, as I continually say through these videos, we've got cooler autumnal air masses forming to our north, but we've still got summer air masses to our south, and very subtle changes in wind direction can either pull up some very hot air or some cool air that is just sitting to our north. And it does mean when these pressure patterns are not exactly pinpointed and the wind direction isn't exactly pinpointed and can veer from a northeasterly to a southeasterly, we can see very, very big swings on the surface in terms of temperatures. So if we do actually have a look at those 2 metre temperatures over the next 5 days, you can see this afternoon widely into the low 20s across the east, 23, 24 degrees, even though it's a bit cloudy, but we see those sun breaks, it will be those warmest temperatures. But across the north and the west, widely mid to high teens, still decent, around average this time of year. And as we head into Monday, you can see those temperatures once again in the far east, potentially rising to 23, 24 degrees, but where we do have some precipitation, as I said, across northern England, it is cooler towards the mid to high teens, but where we escape that, 22, 23. As we head into Tuesday, you can see those temperatures rising quite high actually in the east, widely 23 to 25 degrees, could be a 26 or 27 there, and that's because it's starting to drag up that hotter air, or at least the warmer air from the southeast. And into Wednesday, it could be really quite warm indeed, 27 to 29 degrees is possible, maybe even touching on 30 degrees in the south and east, as I said, those warmer air masses wafting up from the southeast. But as you can see across the North Atlantic, though, it's only 12 or 13 degrees. And it's because we've got these massive temperature contrasts because of the time of year. And as we head into Thursday, we do have, of course, precipitation moving in, but still could be warm in across much of England and Wales, even parts of the Republic of Ireland into the low 20s, maybe high 20s across the southeast. And as we head into Friday, it could still be warm, but we're probably going to be dragging that hot air away as those weather fronts do move through. So if you go to the GFS and have a look at what that's showing over the next couple of weeks, again, you can see a westerly flow at the moment. The low pressure tracks are generally to our north, but they are going to slowly sink slightly further southwards over the next few days, and that's where we drag up that very warm air from the south and the east just through Wednesday and Thursday into the far southeast corner. Could be very warm there for a time. And you could drag in maybe 30 degrees, as I said, 15-degree isotherm moving in. Could be pretty decent. The GFS Operational Run here, as we'll see the ensembles in a minute, is a warmer run, but it's not a complete outlier. And beyond that, high pressure does build in. But interestingly, as I said, the high pressure centre, if we go up the pressure charts, is across Iceland. You can see it bang, smack over Iceland in towards Greenland. And what does that mean? A northeasterly wind, chilly northeasterly wind, pulling in pretty autumnal conditions. See the air masses around freezing to 5 degrees at 850 HPA, which isn't that cold, but for the time of year, it's below average, and it is generally a chillier air direction. Because you see across the near continent, still across Eastern Europe, Southern Europe, across the Mediterranean, still 15 to 20 degrees at 850 HPA, which would still give temperatures in the high 20s, low 30s if it did reach the UK. And that's why a subtle shift in the wind direction and the orientation of the high pressure can make such big differences. Beyond that, the high pressure just sits over the top of us, and eventually we actually see another bout of northerly flow, and the 0 degree isotherm comes in. That is chilly conditions. If you go to the surface, put the dew points on, that just shows you where the air has come from. Getting towards freezing dew points. So cold air coming in, and look at the 2 metre temperatures. You can see widely across northern England, Scotland, even parts of the Midlands, into the mid to high single digits, even low single digits. Could be getting towards freezing for some across Scotland. So autumnal air masses are forming, and depending on that wind direction, will very much decide what sort of conditions we're going to be seeing towards the end of August and start of September. Now, if you look at the temperature deviation, you can see very cold air spreading in, but still, you can see these yellows and oranges across near continent, and you can see we're chopping and changing between these air masses, and that's why I said we could see very fluctuating conditions over the next couple of weeks. We go from 25, 30 degrees to suddenly high teens in the matter of a day or two, which again doesn't sound too much on paper, but in feel, from a southerly 30-degree wind to a northeasterly 18-degree wind, it's going to feel massively different. So I have to keep an eye on it over the next couple of weeks. Still not completely decided, as we'll see the ensembles at the end of the video. They're still all over the place, really. But yeah, a lot of uncertainty over the next couple of weeks. We'll look at the GEM run, see how that does compare again. Westerly flow with a lot of low pressure moving in. Eventually high pressure does build in, and it sits to our north, back over Greenland up towards Iceland. Not as quite as a distinct easterly flow, with a little upper trough there. So even though high pressure is involved, a little upper trough there, you can see that with these yellower colours and a little low pressure system, that's going to produce showers and maybe wider areas of rain. And you can see generally a cooler air mass is coming in, but we still are dragging up on sort of surface flows, still some warm air off the continents. The far south and east could remain warm. So yeah, it really is uncertain because we still have, as I said, those warm air masses to our south, but the wind direction trying to come in from a cooler direction, and those clashes can make it very difficult to forecast these surface conditions. Again, you look at the temperature deviation, blues trying to push in from the north and the east, but yellows and oranges trying to push in from the south. If you do go over to the ECMWF, see what that is showing. Again, a westerly flow over the next couple of days. Generally high pressure building in towards the end of this working week with that warmer air to our south, but low pressure still hanging by to our north. And as by the end of the run, we go into a northerly flow. Pretty chilly indeed, with that generally northeasterly flow. Again, quite cold air moving in, 0 degree isotherm moving in, still hanging on to some warmth in the south, but look at the temperature deviation, real chill for this time of year, pushing in for the last day of August. Again, wouldn't be anything drastic, it would just generally be colder than average, chilly mid to high teens, but it would be a real shock to the system, as we have, as I said, been mid-20s for some, especially in the south. Quite widely for the last 6 to 8 weeks throughout August and July, it's pretty much been consistently 25 degrees or above. And as days where we got to 30 and 40 degrees. So it could be a real shock to the system. And again, if we do have a look at this at the surface level, you can see the 2 metres temperature there at midnight on the 31st of August. Nothing too bad, around 5 or 6 degrees across northern Scotland. But that is chilly. That's cold this time of year, and it is only spreading south with this air mass. You can see it's still just hung over Scotland, still warm-ish air, or around average air just to the south, or slightly below average, let's just say, but close to average. That much cooler air is only just heading into Scotland. So we ran that another day or two, we could start September, much colder than average, so we'll have to see how that does play out. So if you do finish the video by having a look at the ensembles, we'll start on the Icelandic Met Office, looking at the ECMWF anomaly. So the reds and oranges here is high pressure, blues are lower pressure. You can generally see the positioning of the systems. If you do go over to day 10, we'll start on day 10. So that's where the big uncertainty comes in. You can see all the ensemble members have a high pressure block. We've got 25, including the control and operational run. 49% of them have the high pressure block centred towards Iceland and Greenland. A northeasterly flow, again, would be pretty chilly, coming in off the North Sea, but nothing crazy cold by any means. And again, it would depend on exact wind direction, because I said if it veers slightly more easterly, it'd be very much moderated, maybe more around average. If it comes in more of a north or northeasterly, it would be pretty chilly indeed. 16 or 31.4% of high pressure centred to our north, but extended across Scandinavia, and what that does is brings more of a southeasterly wind in. So slight orientation shift, even though the pressure charts look very similar. It'll be a warmer air mass coming from the southeast. Generally, temperatures back into the low to mid 20s, and you can even rule out high 20s if we get the right air mass in. And 10 sort of in between with an easterly flow, but that air direction could still run around from Scandinavia, which is cooling down at the moment, so could start to turn chilly as well. If we move out to 300 hours, again, very similar scenario. 15, I've got the high pressure block out until the North Atlantic, extending towards northern Canada and Greenland, a northerly flow. You see that little white patch, that will be a little low pressure system heading out from the south, the north. 14 of high pressure over the top of us, with a bit of an east or northeasterly flow. Could be chilly, but again, depends on the exact wind direction. Another 13 of the high pressure over towards Scandinavia. That would be an easterly flow, and that wouldn't be too bad at all, really, with, as I said, the wind direction coming in from the near constant, which is still quite warm, and another 9 of that high pressure centre much further westwards up towards Greenland and parts of northeast Canada and America, and that would just have low pressure trapped over the top of us. That would be quite unsettled, but could also be quite warm, as that flow is completely shifted, and we'd actually start to put up a southerly wind with high pressure over the top of Europe, but it would be unsettled with a lot of thunder rather. But there's only only 9 going for us at this stage. The block near the UK is very much more the favoured scenario. If you run right to the end of the run, out to 360 hours, again you can see 15 high pressure out all towards the Atlantic and Greenland, a northerly flow, chilly, unsettled conditions. 14 high pressure out towards the North Atlantic and Iceland, more of an easterly flow, slightly drier but still chilly. Another 13 of a high pressure out towards Scandinavia. We can see low pressure towards Iceland and Greenland, trying to break through, but we'd very much be more of an easterly flow. And 9 have got big low pressure centre over the top of us. That would really demolish any drought conditions we do have. That would produce a lot of precipitation and some very unsettled conditions. So if you finish by looking at the line charts of the ensemble members, if we do start on the GFS, again, turning very warm over the next 5 days, you can spike towards the middle of the week, around 13, 14 degrees at 850 HPA. You can see the GFS Operational Run there, getting to 16 or 17 degrees at 850 HPA. Could be seeing temperatures into the low 30s, but with that. But then we see a drop-off. Majority of the ensemble members still keep us slightly above average, but look at the spread. Some keeping us around 14, 15 degrees at 850 HPA. Others, including the operational run in the longer term, getting us close to 2 or 3 degrees in the London area. And that is chilly, good 5, 6, 7 degrees below average, and just got massive spread. And that's why I say there could be massive swings over the next couple of weeks. It looks warm over the next 5 to 7 days. But beyond that, there is a lot of uncertainty. There does look like precipitation will be around. Nothing too crazy, but as that warmer spell breaks down later this week, as the cool air masses do move in, that's where you could see the risk of some quite heavy, persistent, maybe torrential rain, and even thunderstorms. But considering the exact air mass, the exact breakdown hasn't been sort of deciphered by the ensemble members in the operational runs away from about Thursday time, we won't really be able to look in detail at that, maybe for another day or two. If you compare it to the ECMWF ensembles, which are a little bit more pessimistic. Very warm still, similar over the next 5 to 7 days, breaking down around the 26th of August in around 5 days' time, with quite a lot of precipitation, so there should be some torrential, thundery, persistent rain there. But the ECMWF ensembles still have absolutely massive spread. Some still at 14, 15 degrees, but some down to freezing perhaps, or 1 or 2 degrees 850 HPA, a good 6, 7, 8 degrees below average. But the difference is the ensemble mean is around the 1981 to 2010 mean. So more cooler runs here, more average runs. ECMWF runs are definitely slightly cooler with more of the high pressure block, giving a northeasterly when definitely there's more ensemble members going for that. So we'll have to see how it does play out, but all situations are on the cards here. the only thing we really know is high pressure block is going to be involved. Whether it brings in a northerly or northeasterly, whether it brings an easterly or southeasterly, or even a southerly, warmer conditions, or whether it just blocks further westwards and keeps low pressure trapped over the top of us, like a few of the runs are going for, we'll just have to see. But at the moment, it's all uncertain for the last couple of days of August and start of September. The only thing we can say for certain is over the next 5 days, as we saw with the UKV at the start of the video, it's going to be pretty warm for some areas in the south and east. Could be even touching on heat wave levels. Only for a couple of days. Don't think it would be sort of getting towards official heat wave, because it'll only be a day or two of that. Maybe high 20s. Low 30s, but regardless, it'll be quite widely warm across England and Wales, even to parts of Scotland and Ireland and Northern Ireland as well. So we'll have to see how it does play out, and there will, of course, be some precipitation around as well. So if you gardeners out there are worried about the drought conditions continuing, it does look like there's not going to be any massive deluges, widespread deluges that is. Locally, we could still see some heavy, persistent rain, perhaps even tomorrow in parts of northern England. But there will be plenty of showers around, so don't worry too much about the rainfall at the moment. Yes, it is still going to be pretty dry. We're still not going to be making up too much of the deficit, but are we going to be bone dry over the next 5 days or the next couple of weeks? I can say for certain, probably not. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you cherish the next 5 days, especially here in the east with the warmth coming up, because as we can see from these ensemble members, we don't really have a clue if we're going to see anything warmer in the near future. Could do. Might not, just because of the amount of uncertainty there is at the moment. So do cherish it, because over the next month or so, we're probably going to be seeing the last sort of hot or warm days. And you never know, it could be coming up this week, or it could be sometime in mid-September, or even maybe into October. But you never know, but it is coming up in the very near future, in the next, as I said, few weeks, or at least the next 3 or 4 weeks. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.